My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Hit subscribe right now for this reason. National Review. Andrew McCarthy, Matthew Whitaker joined the Trump Justice Department as Sessions Chief of Staff in October 2017. The date is relevant. The president has named him as Acting Attorney General under the Vacancies Reform Act of 1998. The relevant provisions are codified at sections 3345 and 3346 of Title V U.S. Code. There has been some commentary suggesting that because Whitaker was in a job, Chief of Staff, that did not require Senate confirmation, he could not become the acting officer in a position, AG, that calls for Senate confirmation. Not so. The Vacancies Act enables the president to name an acting officer who may serve as such for 210 days. As long as the person named has been working at the agency or department for at least 90 days in a fairly high-ranking position, Whitaker qualifies. Whitaker has excellent credentials. Okay, so this is the National Review. Other people have stated the same thing. You will see on liberal publications and websites, this is unconstitutional. First of all, Article 2 of the Constitution states that the president controls the executive branch. He controls the affairs of the executive branch. The DOJ is part of the executive branch. This is not a pick that is said to remain forever. So Whitaker doesn't need Senate confirmation if he's the interim Attorney General. He has 210 days. That being said, Maryland is suing Trump. But Maryland sues Trump. Trump picked unqualified partisan for Attorney General to protect himself. Trump needs to call their bluff. This is what happens. Trump's going to pull a Bernie. So, and I'm a Trump supporter. I think he's a great president. I can debate anybody on that. Nobody would want to debate that because, it doesn't matter. He is a great president. And nobody would want to debate why Bernie allowed $200 million to be siphoned from his campaign into Hillary Clinton's campaign to pay eventually for the Steele dossier that eventually would lead to the DNC being sued by BuzzFeed because the Steele dossier is a bunch of nonsense that James Comey and James Clapper and John Brennan used to eventually set up and frame General Michael Flynn, George Papadopoulos, Carter Page, and ultimately Trump and his campaign. Manafort's $15,000 ostrich skin jacket is a fashion crime. It's not a crime against humanity. It's not a national security issue. The real dilemma here is Trump pulling a Bernie. He's being weak. I don't want to say that because I'm a Trump supporter. Why are you a Trump supporter, H.A.? This is very interesting. It helps my channel. Numerous channels are asking why I'm a Trump supporter. I've been explaining this for a year. Peace between North and South Korea, the beginning of peace between North and South Korea. Yeah, sure, it's going to be rocky. It's going to be a rocky endeavor. But we are much better off. The world is much better off. And mainly Moon Jae-in and South Korea are infinitely, their national security is infinitely, has benefited tremendously. Infinitely more than when Obama was president. If I have to explain that to somebody, they don't really understand geopolitics. That's not even the Weekly Standard, who like Bill Kristol, who voted for Hillary Clinton, a neoconservative scholar who pushed for Iraq and still thinks Iraq is a great thing, who voted for Hillary Clinton, just like a lot of the wonderful Bernie Sanders supporters that you see, the pundits who Bernie, 1%, they voted for Clinton. Anyway, there was a Weekly Standard article, Trump's failure with North Korea. No, it's infinitely better than President Obama's administration, where you had an overt despot saying he was going to nuke the United States and South Korea. Now you have Kim Jong-un, who is at least trying to negotiate, has not only détente, but communication with South Korea. This is something that hadn't happened. They were consistently in a state of war. That's no longer the case. But see, that's just one example. That's just one example. We have a great economy. The economy is moving. More people are at work now than under President Obama. Doesn't that help the 99%? I'm asking my Bernie Sanders people who watch me, or the progressives, or I should say, I'm really asking people who have an issue with me voting for Trump. But anyway, so I like Trump. Bernie could be nominee, and it won't be the same Bernie that I once admired, who wanted to remove the United States from counterinsurgency wars and quagmires and regime changes, which is what Trump is not a regime change person. Clinton is. Bernie would be one if he became president and Democrats allowed him to become president. See how many Medicare for All bills there will be in 2 years. How about Bupkis? None. But Maryland sues Trump, pick unqualified partisan for attorney general. So Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress, criminal contempt of Congress. You can't get more of a person who wanted to protect President Obama. Loretta Lynch wanted to protect Hillary Clinton. She met with Bill Clinton on a plane to speak about golf breaks and grandchildren. Now you have Maryland suing Trump. Matt Whitaker, by the way, also Maryland has one of the highest homicide rates and has the strictest gun laws in the country. That's another story. Matt Whitaker's appointment has been criticized because he now oversees the special counsel's investigation of Russia meddling. Okay, Russia didn't meddle in the election, so call their bluff, Trump. Maryland's attorney general on Tuesday challenged the appointment of what he called an unqualified partisan as acting attorney general and charged the president did it to protect himself from any accusations of wrongdoing. In the lawsuit, Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh urged a federal judge to declare that Rod Rosenstein is the acting attorney, U.S. Attorney General. Don't you love that? Rod Rosenstein, this is a guy who should have already been out. There's a New York Times story where he is secretly taping, speaking right here, Trump, right here, secretly taping Trump, and he wanted to utilize the 25th Amendment to oust a duly elected president. Okay, again, you're not going to fight the 1% if you don't care about Clinton getting indicted and not pursuing this endless investigation nonsense. There was no crime that took place. The other day I was reading a Politico article. CrowdStrike gave images of the DNC servers to the FBI. Why didn't the FBI take their own images? Why? And we should trust CrowdStrike's images of DNC servers. That's a conflict. That's the epitome of a conflict of interest. They were outsourced by Hillary Clinton. She purchased her own myth and her own Russian hacking myth and her own Russian conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that Russia and Trump work together. There's zero evidence. There's no evidence. There hasn't been any evidence in 2 years. They're still investigating. Yet they don't want people to say I'm crazy for saying that Clinton will be indicted. And Trump is pulling a Bernie Sanders. He's acting weak. He's losing his base. Now, I wasn't necessarily his base. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I wrote 100 articles in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon. I like Trump. I'm going to vote for him again in 2020. But he needs to act decisively and quickly. He cannot, in a lawsuit, Maryland, okay, so they want Rod Rosenstein as not Whitaker, who was named in that position last week after the forced resignation of Jeff Sessions. Whitaker's appointment has been widely criticized because he now oversees the special counsel's investigation. The special counsel is done. They can't indict anyone else. There's nobody else to indict. There's nobody else to go after. There's nobody else within that sphere. There's 2 years. They have no information. For that reason, several congressional Democrats have urged him to recuse himself from overseeing Robert Mueller. Okay, Robert Mueller has his stupid report. Write the report and get it over with. These people are evil. Trump is dealing with evil people, and he's dealing with them with kid gloves. Now, look, I'm not going to second-guessing Trump is difficult because he's president despite the odds. He's done something that nobody else could do. So I give him a lot of respect for that. I give him a lot of respect for it. He's done something that nobody else could do, and he's withstood a complete media barrage, which I'm worried about. This non-stop, endless media barrage I didn't think was influencing millions upon millions of people, but it does, even in a great economy, even in an economy with record growth, with jobless claims at all-time low. There are wonderful accomplishments. He signed an opioid bill. I mean, this is like, but you know what? The media continues to disparage Trump every single day as if Debbie Wasserman Schultz wrote the headlines, as if the media is an extension of the Democratic Party. He has to act quickly and decisively. Matthew Whitaker needs to simply go where the evidence takes him. Mueller should have gone, you don't need 2 years to investigate Clinton. Okay, by the way, James Comey already compiled enough evidence to indict Clinton. What he said is that she didn't mean to commit the crimes she committed, but there's evidence of her crimes. Matthew Whitaker should take that, and that's it. There's already a DOJ email probe, FBI Clinton Foundation probe. He needs to simply indict with the evidence that he already has, and that's public record. That's it. Pick a crime, any crime, Espionage Act, RICO statutes, whatever. Then you have 2 years of Democrats diverting their energy, their attention, their money, their media focus on defending Queen Hillary. It's not rocket science, President Trump. If anyone watches this that's anywhere close to the administration, let him know time is of the essence. You can't waste any more time, and people are going to be disillusioned. The whole point of President Trump is that he is taking a sledgehammer to the system. Now they're going to beat him up again. They already spent 2 years with a bogus Mueller probe. Now they're going to go after his underwear. He stole a Kit Kat or a Snickers bar, or whatever, bubble gum when he was 8 years old. Who knows what they're going to do? They have 85 targets. 85 targets that they're going to go after. 85 targets. Meaning, 85 different investigations, or they're going to subpoena people for what? You couldn't even get Brian Pagliano to get subpoenaed. He ripped up the subpoena. He's like, you see that, Chaffetz? What you going to do? Not going to do anything, Jason Chaffetz. Subpoena me? I'm not going to go. I'm just going to plead the fifth, so why should I go? They didn't even get the guy who helped transfer top secret intelligence. Matthew Whitaker. Somebody tell Matthew Whitaker. Simply ask how she transferred top secret intelligence from Cyberneck, JWIC, SCIFs, other locations. I explained this in But Her Top Secret Emails. President Trump is wasting time, and I understand it takes 2 years to wrestle control. Time is of the essence. And notice the lawsuit wasn't that it's unconstitutional, because you get a 5-4, 5 conservatives to 4 liberals on the Supreme Court. You'd get a 5-4 ruling in favor of Trump if they even dared try to say that Matthew Whitaker was unconstitutional. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Maryland's suing Trump. Why? Because they don't like Matthew. Because they think Matthew Whitaker is going to end the Mueller probe, which should have been ended a year ago. The Mueller probe was started because Rod Rosenstein told Trump to fire Comey, which Obama should have done, and then felt bad and used Comey's leaked classified memos. And Comey and McCabe and Strzok, and you look at there was immense bias. What Horowitz stated, the IG said there was no prosecutorial bias because the prosecutors weren't given evidence of Clinton's crimes. The true evidence is how she transferred top secret intelligence. The fact if people say, oh, that's crazy, HA's crazy because he's a lunatic. One guy who's awesome, he's a real lunatic. H.A. Goodman's a lunatic. If that makes me a lunatic for actually focusing on the real crimes of somebody and not focusing on the fabricated crimes of another person, then that's actually a saint. That's what sanity is. By the way, if Trump committed those crimes, I wouldn't be advocating Trump. If Trump committed crimes and he actually did work with Russia, why would I go all in on Trump? I was all in on Clinton losing, and she lost in 2016. Nobody said that. A lot of things I've stated. I have the pulse of what's going on. I'm not perfect, as you can have seen recently. I'm not perfect. Not perfect at all. But I don't straddle the fence. I don't tell people to vote for Hillary in swing states, and then oh, I'm this big Bernie person. No. If you're not getting hit pieces written about you by like Raw Story, the Daily Beast, all these places, like I did, you're not a real threat to the Democratic Party. You're not somebody that is this big threat. You're not fighting the 1% or whatever. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Trump needs to act decisively. He needs to act decisively, and he needs to act quickly. If he doesn't act quickly and decisively, the media, along with the Democratic Party, will outmaneuver him. And that can't happen. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.